Hello, everyone, and welcome to a fresh edition of ESPN FC. I am Alexis Nunes, hanging out this fine Friday with Shaka Hislop and Ale Moreno. And the good news for you is that we're not done with that Erling Haaland being the best striker the Premier League has ever seen debate just yet. More on that later on. We actually have another expert that we've brought in to weigh in on that, but that's not where we're starting today. Oh, no. We are starting with the U.S. men's national team. They are in action tonight in a friendly in Austin, Texas, against Ecuador. Now, Ecuador finished second in CONMEBOL qualifying, so it will be a stern test for Mauricio Pochettino and his men. But let's hear what Pochettino had to say ahead of this game.
Now, I promise you, no one is sure that is going to be on the roster of the World Cup 2026 here. I don't believe it before that was in the same way or not. But today, I promise all the guys feel that they need to fight to be there. And that is priceless, because all feel that need to be in a very, they need to go out of the comfortable zone. And when you are out of your comfortable zone, I think only what you can do is, please. Only you can improve. Only you can improve. And that, I think, is a good signal, and is one of the things that we change in 1 year.
Who would have thought Mauricio Pochettino would be giving us the most entertaining press conferences nowadays? All right, well, let's welcome in a good friend of the show, a former World Cup winner himself, and of course, the man who knows exactly what Mauricio Pochettino has to deal with, a former USA coach himself, Jurgen Klinsmann. Hey. Woo, that was a nice intro for you, Jurgen. It's been a while since we got to talk to you, Jurgen, so of course we have to pick your brain about Pochettino's comments. Everyone analyzes them so much nowadays. He is very entertaining. So what did you make of what he just had to say about the healthy competition within this U.S. men's national team squad?
Well, yeah, thanks for being back with you guys. It's been a couple of days. I think just simply he wants to tease a little bit the environment. You know, he wants to tease maybe the media a bit, and especially obviously the players, and wants to see, you know, how they deliver. I mean, he passes the ball out to the players, you know, and expects a certain standard, and expects response from the players. You know, that they want to prove they have to prove to him that they all deserve to go to the World Cup next summer, and nothing more.
I've been fairly critical of Pochettino's comments of late, and this one as well. Just doesn't sit that great with me. On the one hand, I would think that players at this level, regardless, nobody kind of sits in a comfort zone as to who they are, what their role in whatever team, and including here in the US. Now, Pochettino is, granted, some of it may have been lost in translation. English is not his first language, but this suggestion that players were too comfortable before he arrived, and he changed his entire culture in a year around players being in a comfort zone, I just doesn't sit well with me, because Jurgen could probably answer as well as anybody, if anybody in his teams were comfortable in their position, were playing within themselves in their own comfort zone. Berhalter, Bradley, I'm sure whoever you ask, nobody will say that anybody in their squad took things for granted. And so I find that a little off-putting, for want of a stronger phrase.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's congratulate Alexis for the introduction to Jurgen. She said, "Oh, what a great introduction that was!"
I haven't seen Jurgen in a while. That's a big involvement.
Hey, Jurgen, welcome back. I've done a great job of introducing you. That's great.
I'll give you guys the same love as well.
In regards to this comfort zone, I actually do think that a lot of these players got really cozy and comfortable with Greg Berhalter. Let's not forget that it was some of these players that went to U.S. soccer and said, no, we want Berhalter back. Why do you want him back? Well, you want him back because you know him well, and you want him back because you know he's invested in you, and you want him back because he allows you certain freedoms, and he allows you to be comfortable. So I get the competition aspect here. And I think this is where Pochettino is trying to sort of raise the level of expectation and competition within the squad and saying, no, you shouldn't be comfortable. This is not a God-given right that you're going to be in the national team. You have to earn it. I think that's where he's coming from, and I think that's what he's trying to get across. Now, I don't think he has changed this mentality over the last year. I think you can make the argument that there's a lot more questions now than there were a year ago. So in him bringing this up, there's also something that lacks a little bit of honesty, if you will. Because let me just break the news here. People may not know this, but I'm going to go ahead and break news for them. I've been doing a lot of research. Christian Pulisic will be part of this national team in the World Cup if he's healthy in 2026. Yeah? Okay. So at least one player is safe. He's going to be part of this team. So it lacks a little bit of depth and honesty because we know that there's about a group of 5-7 players that have a pretty good idea that they're going to be on that squad. Whatever else that comes after and whatever else these other players are, then so be it. And that happens in every national team. You have a core group of players, and then you have other players that make up the rest of the squad. As it pertains to the comfort zone, I think, to your point, Shaka, Jurgen can speak to the fact that when he took over the national team, it was his expectation that his players would go and push themselves out of the comfort zone of Major League Soccer and would go elsewhere if the opportunities would come about and would challenge themselves in a more highly competitive environment.
Jurgen, you know I'm going to have to come to you on this one. I suppose it's a two-part question. One, do you think that players were getting too comfortable, and do you feel that Poch has now changed that culture?
Well, I think it has to be probably this way because otherwise he wouldn't do it, right? I mean, he obviously took some time and he evaluated his roster, he evaluated his players, he got to know his players, you know, and now he comes out and says, I want to move them out a bit of their comfort zone. So there were some parts that probably he didn't like, and he wants a reaction. He wants to see, you know, how far the players can take it. And so he will continue to probably to provoke a bit the situation, provoke his players, provoke his environment, media included, fans included, and he wants to see them, you know, deliver. And it's not easy for Mauricio in the way that you have this unbelievable World Cup coming up in your home country. And obviously the expectations are huge, you know, and we have a team that most of them play in very, very prestigious clubs in Europe now, which was always our goal to get them to an AC Milan, a Juventus Turin, or Olympique Marseille, and where, you know, all these places that they play. So now he wants to see a response from the players. He wants to see them being hungry, extremely hungry coming into camp. And in every training session, he will a little bit provoke them and see, you know, okay, how serious are you taking every single minute you are with the national team? So I think, you know, it's tricky for him because he has no real big games in the qualifying in that period of time because obviously the US, Mexico, and Canada is already qualified. So meanwhile, you know, the Italy is still kind of scared of not even qualifying. Germany has to go through it. You know, obviously South America is done, but there's still some big nations out there. They still have to qualify for the World Cup next summer. Well, the US is with Mexico and Canada automatically qualified. So he has to raise the bar a bit in terms of tension and in terms of aggressiveness, in terms of, you know, livelihood within the group and make those friendly games that come up, then he has to kind of make them bigger than they actually are. You know, obviously, it's a pleasure to play Ecuador because Ecuador played a tremendous positive World Cup qualifying campaign and has a good group of very, very young, highly quality players. But he has to kind of motivate extra the players, you know, to do those, to handle those friendly games in a way like they would be World Cup qualifiers. But all of us know they are not World Cup qualifiers. So it's not that easy for Mauricio.
Well, one of the questions that we have asked a lot about Mauricio Pochettino, and probably the reasons why we read into his comments and his press conferences so much, is that we're still trying to see what is Mauricio Pochettino's best U.S. squad or even his best 11. We know that he has been used to chopping and changing, experimenting a lot, bringing in new uncapped players. But now we are in October, and there's a bit of discomfort considering we're less than a year out from the World Cup. Do you feel like he's experimenting a little too much, Jurgen? Do you feel like by now he should already have his best 11 at least?
Well, he will keep experimenting for sure for a couple of games. But does he have his best 11? Probably yes. But he will not tell you his best 11. You know, he certainly has a plan. He has things in mind. He constantly evaluates everybody. He watches their games in their club teams, no matter if they're in MLS or if they're in Europe. And he has a very, very good understanding of every single one of them. And still, he wants to experiment a little bit here, a little bit there. But I'm sure that he knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, you guys, we've obviously been on Football Americas quite a bit, and we discuss this week in, week out. Jurgen saying that he actually does think that Poch knows what his best 11 is. Do you guys have that much confidence?
I think in a quiet moment at night, as he's picturing his team, ideally, he has a version of what he thinks would be the best 11 on paper. The problem is that those players haven't been together out on the field with any sort of consistency, whether it's injuries, whether it's lack of performance, whether it's they haven't been called up. Some guys have come, some guys haven't come. This guy didn't want to be here, that guy didn't want to be there. He needed to go back to his club earlier than expected. All these things have happened during call-ups. And a lot of these players that I'm referring to are big name players who would be in that quote-unquote starting 11, ideal starting 11 for Mauricio Pochettino. So my question to Mauricio Pochettino and to whoever else is in a position to make decisions for this national team is, isn't it about time that this ideal 11 is actually out on the field so that it's not only ideal on paper, ideal in your quiet moments late at night, that it's actually ideal on the field? We haven't seen it yet. Now, we don't have to see it in October of 2025, but in order for that team to be ready for June 2026, we need to see them out there more often than not. That hasn't been the case.
And we run out of international windows,
Yep.
of course.
Yep.
You've got November, you've got March, and then probably in the little window before you start the tournament, you see this team ramp all the way up, and certainly is his preferred 11 out on the park more times than not. Of course, injuries can change all that. But this kind of brings me back to what we were discussing previously, as much as you know, I take the points made, and let's be honest, there's a little battle going on for the goalkeeper position here, but of the other 10 positions, probably we could name 8 now. And, you know, I don't think this players pool, this US players pool, is that deep that we aren't sure of 8 of the 10 positions, injuries aside. So, again, that just kind of leads me back to why I'm not quite sure what Pochettino is saying sometimes. But he's got to start and the other aspect to this is, okay, while good result against Japan last time out, this US team has not been all that convincing over the last 6 months.
To me, when I watch the US play under Mauricio Pochettino, they're in between. They're neither the team that is going to press all over the field, nor a team that is all that very well organized defensively. They're not a counter-attacking team, but they're not a heavy possession team either. So they're neither here nor there. I think that has to be defined regardless of what your 11 is out on the field. Right now would be the moment to start defining, okay, this is who we are. This is how we're going to go about winning games in the World Cup. This is how we're going to go about advancing in the World Cup. Look, no better person to tell you how to do that than Jurgen Klinsmann, who did it so very well in 2014 in what was a very tough group. But that team had an identity to it, and it was high energy, and people were running all over the field. And when you had to defend, you defended well, and when there were set pieces, you took advantage of set pieces. Look, I can't quite say that about this version of the United States. And I'm not just saying it because Jürgen is here. I'm stating facts. They got out of a very tough group.
Yeah.
If the United States were in that tough a group right now, I couldn't tell you with any sort of certainty, oh, yeah, sure, they're getting out. Not based on what we have seen, to Shaka's point, over the last 6 months, over the last year.
Well, Jürgen, it's something that Ale said, which is the fact that even though Pochettino says nobody's a guarantee, we can almost guarantee that Christian Pulisic, barring any injuries, is going to be that first name in that roster come next year. We look at how he's doing right now in the Serie A for AC Milan. It seems like he's having such a good start as well, 6 goals in 8 games in all competitions. And we think back to where he chose not to play at the Gold Cup this summer. And obviously that didn't sit too well with Pochettino. But now looking back on it, does that prove that that was the right decision for him to take that break?
Well, I think only Christian can tell us that, because obviously he knows his body best. He knows his mental plan also towards the World Cup best, what is good for him. I mean, obviously with no coach it sits well if a player says, oh no, I'm not available for a tournament. But obviously if you look at these players that now play for really, really good teams, and look at the schedule, the agenda of Christian Pulisic going between European competitions to what he's playing on the club level, and I've obviously watched carefully what happens in Italy all the time. I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled, where he is right now, what level he is playing, because it's outstanding to watch an American kid being so dominant right now in Italian football. We've never had that before. And other players that play in Europe as well, they're doing their job. They're not getting anything for free. They're not getting anything for granted. They have to prove their point week in, week out. And that is a good foundation to build on for a national team program. And Mauricio knows that. He knows that these players are delivering in Europe. They're giving their best, and it's the same with the players in MLS. Obviously we cannot enter in his brain. We cannot enter in his head, what kind of ideas he has in the back of his mind. But obviously we have to trust him. We have to trust him. We have to believe that this is now the path that the national team is going towards the World Cup the next 9 months. There will be a lot of question marks always be up in the air, which for us football fans, it's the greatest thing to do is to discuss, the roster up and down, the starting 11, and have all these conversations that we have right now. But he certainly knows what he's doing. Having a player like Christian at your disposal, and that comes now with so much. He's fairly young still, but he has so much experience now playing first in Dortmund, then in Chelsea, and now being at AC Milan. It's just fantastic. And the players around him, they buy into him. They look up to him or look next to him, because there are some other ones that are playing for big clubs as well, like Weston McKennie at Juventus, for example. So it is a good group of guys, and they have to prove the point to Mauricio that they're extremely, extremely hungry for the World Cup.
Well, Jürgen, they could prove a point tonight with a big performance against Ecuador. Like I said, Ecuador will be a stern test for them. So give me a prediction. What do you see happening? Oh,
I would go prediction. I saw Ecuador in a couple of games in the qualifiers. I was so impressed. It's a good quality team. And with Caicedo, their leader there in the middle of the park, they have really quality. So I would probably go with a tie, maybe a 1-1.
Oh, a 1-1. All right, so Jürgen slightly sitting on the fence. Ale, what say you?
Well, let me give the news to Jürgen. Moises Caicedo is not available. Piero Hincapié will not play either. Gonzalo Plata, one of their difference maker in the attack, is also not playing, or reportedly not playing. And so this is Ecuador, yes, finished second in CONMEBOL, but it's a lesser version of Ecuador.
Sitting on the fence too?
No, I'm not sitting on any fence. I'm saying I'm expecting the United States of America to beat Ecuador at home, and it shouldn't be a surprise that we expect this team, with all their toys available, to put up a performance. You have your manager saying everybody's got to earn a place. The way you earn a place is by playing well, and this is the sort of matches when you need to play well. I'm saying the United States win it 2-1.
I can't believe I'm going to be the lone voice for CONMEBOL here.
Oh, okay.
I thought Ali would certainly claim that thunder. Listen, I get Ali's point, even with the players missing. I think this is a very good Ecuador team. Again, I still have questions. Last game out against Japan aside, I still have a lot of questions about this U.S. men's national team. I go Ecuador 2-0.
2-0, not even a goal for the U.S.
Where's the belief for America, son?
Where is the belief? All right. Well, Christian Pulisic, we're going to talk about him again because he has spoken out about Milan playing a Serie A game in Australia. And this is what he had to say. He's not really thrilled with the idea. He says, am I super thrilled that we have to go to Australia to play one game? It's a little bit harsh because I heard about that as well. But as far as for the fan experience to grow the game worldwide, I get it, I guess. But as far as tradition, I can also understand why there would be a little bit of a pushback, I guess. But for me, it's a strange one. All right, Jurgen, what do you make about Pulisic's comments? Of course, this is also coming on the back of the announcement that Barcelona will play Villarreal in a La Liga game in Miami. So do you agree with him?
Yeah, I agree with him because it's a strange one. It's something that, you know, it's difficult to get used to those ideas. You know, obviously it's based on branding the product globally, getting attention, making a bit of more money in a game like that. I totally get it. You know, financial point of view, and obviously there are different opinions out there. I mean, some players, they say, oh, I would love to go there and play a game in Australia. Why not? I'd love to go for 2-3 days to Miami and play a game. No problem. So some players will take it very, very positively, and some players will take it negatively and say, you know what, I don't want to fly that long for one game and fly straight back. I remember when I coached Bayern Munich, we did a preseason game in Tokyo. You know, we flew over. They basically chartered a 747 Jumbo. And next day we played, and boom, we were back on the plane and flying back. You know, but the financial reward was good for the club. So it is always that discussion that we have. You know, is it really now? Are we going that far with something? You know what? An NFL is going overseas, playing games overseas in European stadiums. They are hugely successful. There's huge shows there, and actually creates a big buzz around American football then when those games happen in Europe, and so does now soccer, and wants to take the game globally in different ways. So I understand both sides.
We now know how Bayern Munich afforded Jurgen Klinsmann's salary.
Anything to get, Jurgen. All right, well, sticking with the U.S.
And we had excellent sushi, I have to tell you.
All right, guys, get ready for it. We're talking about Erling Haaland. Once again, yes, it was the question that launched 1,000 debates, but Erling Haaland has been named the Premier League Player of the Month for September. He's already scored 9 goals in 7 games so far. And Jurgen, we absolutely want you to weigh in on this argument. The question was, is Erling Haaland the best striker the Premier League has seen? We had a look at his stats, and best believe he is already ahead of some of the biggest names that we have seen grace the Premier League. But as a lot of the guys have argued back, they have said that there's more to being, I suppose, called the best striker than just the stats. So where do you fall in this debate, Jurgen? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that we have to differentiate. Ever? I mean, ever? No, you cannot say that because the times were different. You know, 20, 30 years ago, the rules were different. You know, strikers couldn't score that easily because no center back could kind of kick you twice in the back of your legs and take you out. You know, the rules have changed. They're far more protected. But I'm not taking anything away from Erling Haaland. I mean, he's absolutely fantastic, outstanding, and deserves every single compliment out there. Now, were there other players in the history of the Premier League that I would compare to him in terms of quality and class, not only because of numbers and goals, then if you look at that list, then you can go through it and you can pick your favorite ones. And I think, you know, you have to see them as a whole, you know, and as a package. And that's why I admire everything that Erling is doing, and I wish him goals as many as he can score, and also taking Norway obviously to the World Cup. But I think over time, if you have an Alan Shearer, for example, there, Thierry Henry, I mean, Didier Drogba carried Chelsea on his own shoulders there many games. I would then throw them in there, but I would not put him above them.
All right. So as Jurgen's saying then, that you can't, there's more to this story. But I guess quickly before we get the guys to weigh in on this one, Jurgen, who for you is the best striker the Premier League has seen ever?
I mean, obviously we watch it from different angles and we watch it at different times, and I'm a bit old on my end, but I loved Alan Shearer. I have to say, Alan Shearer was for me a guy that he was just, I played against him and he won a Premier League title then in the year I was there. And so you have something in common probably, but I was always a big admirer of him.
Ale, this is your area of the pitch. When you're a striker, you live off of numbers, right? Goals don't lie.
Well, in my case, not enough goals.
Yeah.
Not enough goals.
They were lying.
there were a lot of lies. Well, I think you have to ask yourself the very existential question of what is a striker? And what is a striker now is different as to what was a striker 30, 40 years ago. The role of the striker, of the number 9, the old school number 9, we call it old school now, is that guy that was defined by, hey, I'll touch the ball 3 times, but 2 of them go in the back of the net, and that's it. That has changed. That is an endangered species. And that's why I appreciate so much what Erling Haaland does, because he is a striker.
That striker.
This is who he is. He lives and dies on scoring goals, and I have admiration and respect for that. But is Mohamed Salah a or is he a winger type that scores a lot of goals?
Even Henry?
Thierry Henry. Or take it, Cristiano Ronaldo in his time at Manchester United. Was he a striker or was he a winger? Take it outside of the Premier League. Is Lionel Messi a striker? Is he? Is he? Not really, not by that definition. And so what a striker is now, to Jurgen's point, is completely different as to what it was back then. So if we are evaluating for a moment in time in the Premier League, man, it's hard to look past Thierry Henry for a moment in time. Even a guy like Michael Owen, for a moment in time. The longevity, if you're going to look at it for the productivity, you cannot look past Alan Shearer, because that is an old school striker that for a long period of time was scoring goals consistently. Erling Haaland is well on his way. He is well on his way. And every sign points in the direction that he will be the all-time leading goal scorer in the Premier League. And when he achieves that, maybe we can revisit the conversation. He's well on his way, but it's too early to call. And so I am not crowning Erling Haaland just yet. He's very much in the conversation, and he will be very much a part of the top end of this conversation as his career continues to advance and he continues to score goals.
Shaka, who's your best ever?
My best, leaning into what Ali just said, I thought the best finisher I've seen is one I'd also played with in Alan Shearer. I don't think finishers came much better than Alan Shearer. Robbie Fowler, maybe a close second. Erling Haaland cut from a similar cloth in terms of his playing style. But on that list, there's nobody that changed the game by his mere presence more than Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
While he wasn't the finisher that Alan Shearer was or Robbie Fowler was, Thierry Henry gave you so much more because of his pace, because of how skillful he was on the ball and drifting out to wide areas. He just totally confused defenses, and you had to have a very different game plan in playing up against a Thierry Henry, which is why even when Erling, and I'm sure when Erling Haaland hits the number of games that Thierry Henry does, Erling Haaland will have a whole lot more goals. It's just an entirely different conversation in comparing those two because of just their different styles and different impacts on the opponents.
Can I confuse the conversation even more?
Oh, sure. Why not? We love a bit of confusion.
Let me pollute it a little bit more. I think Harry Kane right now, for example, is a more complete player than Erling Haaland. A better player, more complete. He can do much more than Erling Haaland in terms of what he does on the field. He can play number 9 position, but he can play underneath. He can hold up play. He can distribute play. He is the full package. But if you ask me to pick a striker to have on my team, a goal scorer, I'm picking Erling Haaland. And yet I think Harry Kane is a better player. Does that make sense? Probably not. More complete player doesn't mean that you are a better striker if indeed you define striker by goal scoring.
Jurgen, does what Ale just say make sense to you as well?
Absolutely, it makes total sense. I think, when you talk about the traditional, really hardcore number 9, it's a Lewandowski, it's a Harry Kane, and it's Erling Haaland. And then they have other top strikers up there. They move around, they go to the left, they go to the right, like the Messi, Ronaldos, and many others, Salah, and many of them. I would be curious to see what the conversation was about if Gary Lineker would have stayed in England his entire career. But he left. He went to Spain. He went to Barcelona, and so forth. No, it's a fantastic conversation to have, and I think there's so much quality out there, and we just admire them. I mean, obviously, Pep Guardiola knew exactly what he was doing when he decided to bring in Erling Haaland. And Pep Guardiola, his philosophy before that was always playing with a false number 9. So it all hit us a little bit by surprise that he said, no, now I want a real kind of a old traditional number 9 with Erling Haaland that only is responsible for scoring goals. And obviously it works out.
Exactly how Arne Slot can bring out the best in your countryman, Florian Wirtz. We just have a look at his stats, and he's not quite having the instant big impact everybody would have wanted him to have when he made the transition from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's simply natural that a kid with 22 years of age, going to another country, to a huge club, with the package of a huge transfer fee, will need some time. Florian needs some time there to settle in, to get to know the place, to feel more comfortable every day. He will deliver. I have no doubt about it. This kid is extremely good, but it will take some time. So we have to be patient for that. Some maybe do it differently, like a Woltemade scored already 4 goals in 7 games at Newcastle. But I'm sure that Florian will not disappoint. He just takes a little bit of time.
Where do you think he should play in this current Liverpool system?
Well, that's not an easy one because they are overloaded.
Yeah.
They're overloaded with top class players. This Liverpool side is just incredible. Look at the names, look what they have, how they can switch things around. Ideally, obviously in Leverkusen he came often from the left wing and then entered the 18-yard box. He can come through the middle. He can play a 10 as well. So yeah, they will figure it out over time. But he will be a huge deal down the road for Liverpool.
He will be a huge deal, according to Jurgen. So do we just need a bit more patience, Ale?
Yes, and I understand wholeheartedly what Jurgen is saying. The problem is that because Liverpool is trending in the wrong direction, they're losing games, now patience is wearing very thin. Not just with Florian Wirtz, but the whole squad.
And Stevie Nicol.
And well, yes, that happens quite regularly, so that's not news here. The point is, you watch Florian Wirtz play today for Germany, and you compare that to him playing with Liverpool, and the difference is clear in that with Germany, as it was with Bayer Leverkusen, he would go wherever he wanted. And that's what he did today against Luxembourg. Now, it's Luxembourg, and Germany should be winning these games all day, every day. But the point being is the freedom to go and find the game however he sees fit. We haven't seen that yet with Liverpool. I think he is in between. He's trying to play sort of this midfield role, but he's more of an attacking player. Is he coming from the outside? Not really. Is he coming from underneath? Not really. In an effort to try to fit all these pieces together, Arne Slot is jamming players into certain positions. And Florian Wirtz needs freedom. He cannot be jammed into one part of the field. He needs freedom to come and go and show here, show there, run with the ball, run without the ball, combine, find a through ball, dribble people. And in order to do that, he has to have the freedom to go wherever he wants to. And I just don't know if Arne Slot is ready to give him that role just yet. Hey, do whatever you want. I don't think that's happening.
Jurgen, I saw you nodding over there with a lot of what Ale was saying, which makes me believe that you're agreeing with everything he had to say, which is a foreign feeling for Ale, let me tell you. But do you think that Arne Slot is eventually going to give Florian Wirtz that freedom that Ale says he needs?
Well, we have to ask Arne, obviously, directly. It is not easy. It is not easy for him as a manager either. You know, if you have these strikers at your disposal or these attacking-minded players, you know, and you have to decide every week, you know, who to start, you know, in the starting 11. It's not an easy conversation that you have with those players, you know, because obviously they're all big names. They're all hungry for every minute on the field. They want to prove their points, and so it's from a psychological perspective, it's a lot of work for Arne Slot. But it will, so step by step, it will develop in the right direction. Obviously, Ali is right, because, you know, when you're at Liverpool, you don't have really time, because you need to win the next game, you know, in all competitions. But Florian decided to make that move, and he will learn every day, and he has, you know, there will be some rough days also in this kind of period to adjust. But there was, from his perspective, there was no other way to go. It was clear that the moment that Liverpool came up on the horizon and gives him that opportunity, and obviously for Leverkusen with that transfer fee as well, that was the only solution for him, and now he has to work himself into that environment and create himself the best way to break through and go from game to game. But it is not easy.
It's not easy, and as Alice said, Liverpool have been trending down recently. They've lost 3 games on the trot, which is the first time that they have done in some time. Just looking at the title odds right now, where does Liverpool fall for you? Are they still one of the top contenders for the Premier League title, in your opinion? Jurgen, that's you.
Yeah, oh, that's me, okay. No, I think they're all up there. No, I mean, Liverpool will, it's not going to be an easy run for no team up there. It will be, hopefully, it will be a fight from all these teams until the very end of the season. You know, I don't think that any of those teams will run away from the opponents.
So who's winning for you then, Jurgen? I'm just trying to get it out of you.
Oh my gosh, no, I cannot. Arsenal, I cannot even mention it. It's impossible for me. No, I would never give Arsenal the lead.
Jurgen didn't want to say it.
You see how uncomfortable he got?
Oh yeah.
People don't know that he's staring.
When I see that table, you know, it hurts me already.
People at home don't know that Jurgen's staring at the beach from where he's at. He's like, I'm going to the beach. I'm not answering this question.
But still, it is a big win for Germany.
They weren't even high fives. A bunch of low fives.
It was a bit of low five. But as you said, it is Luxembourg. We expect Germany to win this one. As you can see there, they are in Group A, joint top, I suppose we could say that, on 6 points with Northern Ireland as well as Slovakia. And for Luxembourg, they're languishing at the bottom. Now, Jurgen, always watching Germany, I suppose in the last couple of years has been a bit interesting, because we do know that there has been some sort of a rebuild. And so far, when we've seen Germany in action, like the last international window, they still haven't necessarily convinced us all that Germany is back. What do you make of this German team?
Yeah, the same question, you know, asked basically by every football fan in Germany since months. You know, where do we stand? You know, where are we in the process towards the World Cup 2026 in the US, Canada, and Mexico? Obviously, they started the qualification round, the last qualification round now with a defeat against Slovakia, which was a huge surprise to everybody, and it was kind of the atmosphere out there was very critical with Julian Nagelsmann. And they expected, obviously, a clear reaction today against Luxembourg. They expect now a good game in Northern Ireland in a couple of days to put the record straight, because the expectations is clear. They're going as a number 1 in the group team straight to the World Cup. Yes, the transition is still ongoing, because obviously the injury of Musiala left a huge hole there. They're trying still to find a number 9 that is really the number 9, you know, and not always in doubt. Woltemade is developing, is doing well at Newcastle, but he hasn't scored yet for the national team, but now he's constantly there. I think Gnabry and Kimi probably today were the 2 best players on the pitch, but the team still has to find itself. So it's still in the process. You know, the great big question mark is a bit the goalkeeper position, because Ter Stegen is long time injured. And yeah, there's always the rumor around that maybe Manuel Neuer comes back shortly, maybe before the World Cup, because if they don't solve that position, then we have a problem in Germany.
I don't want to take your role, Alexis, but can I ask a question to Jürgen?
Alex,
Please. As I'm watching this game and I'm seeing that Joshua Kimmich is playing right back, Nagelsmann has it out there right back. When he was at Bayern Munich, he would have him in the middle and then he would send him out to right back. Now, from the land that saw Thomas Berthold as a right back, Hans-Peter Briegel, Philipp Lahm, Jürgen, is Joshua Kimmich really going to be the right back for this German national team, assuming that they make it to the World Cup in 2026? Is he really the best right back that Germany can offer right now?
He's definitely the best alternative they have, as a non-right back. But I mean, he can play the position as we know, but obviously he sees himself as well as a number 6, as a number 8, because he wants to run the show. He wants to have 120 touches per game, and be the kind of the playmaker in a certain way, coming from a deeper position. That's where he sees himself as well. Germany at the moment is struggling of both sides, with the fullbacks, and it will be interesting to see, what route Nagelsmann will go. In 2014, Germany ended up to win the World Cup with 4 center backs because they had no real high quality fullbacks. So Jogi Löw decided then to put 2 other center backs to the outside positions and said, but don't go forward. Let the other ones do the stuff going in attack. So yeah, there are question marks out there. Question marks every game is, what is the ideal midfield? If Kimmich plays as a number 6, Ale, and you're right, he's ideal there. But is he the number 6 that wins you every ball back? Is he one, that Gattuso, a player that cleans up in front of the back line? Because if you play back 4, you need to make sure you have a number 6 that protects your 2 center backs, and that's the issue at Bayern Munich over the last couple of years. We had discussion often, on the show, is saying, okay, how can they be protected then, the 2 center backs at Bayern Munich, if nobody in front of them is cleaning up, is doing the dirty work, that we always say. So Germany has still some work to do. Nagelsmann still has some work to do, but obviously the country expects him now to go to Northern Ireland and get 3 points and make it clear that they go through to the World Cup as the number 1 team in that group. But there are still a lot of question marks out there.
All right. Did that answer your question, Ale?
It
You feel fulfilled?
Well, he didn't give me a name, but yeah, sure.
All right, Jürgen, danke schön for joining us. It was great to have you back.
Thanks for having me, you guys. Always a pleasure.
All right, so unfortunately, Azerbaijan, for them and for Shaka, not much up to the task against France. But you know what? We
gave it our best.
It's a we now. Shocked in Uzbeki. All right. This is a look at Group D standings, where France are, and everything looking good there for the French, isn't it, Ale?
You mean as it pertains to World Cup qualifying?
Past that, because when we're talking about France, We're talking about, at least in the top 3 names, we're talking about winning the entire thing.
This was nothing more than a somewhat competitive training session. About 20 seconds into the match, Azerbaijan plays the ball back into their own half. Kylian Mbappe gets on the end of it, probably should have scored. Hits it on target, goalkeeper makes a save, should have scored. If he had done that, this game would have gotten out of control quite early. Azerbaijan then got organized, made it somewhat difficult for France. It became more of a frustrating evening than it needed to be for France. But eventually, they're too good, too much space, too much quality, too much talent, and they end up scoring 3 goals. And you're thinking, they won this game as easily as they did, and you never got the sense that they were at full strength or full speed. That is really the question for me in France, is how often can you get their best? And if you get their best 7 matches in a row in a World Cup, you're talking about a team that should be in the final stages of the competition. But this is a team as talented as it is, and mind you, they kept going into the stands for the players that were not on the field. And it's Dembele is over there, and Barcola is over there, and this guy is here, and this guy is there, and you're thinking, Good Lord.
Wow.
So they got more to come. They got more to come. This is as talented a team as there is in the world. They are their own enemy, their own biggest enemy. They are the ones that can put a ceiling on what they can do in the World Cup. The talent, when you look men for men, 1 through 22, there is no better squad in the world.
Shaka, in terms of contenders to win the World Cup, of course, France being finalists last time, so I said they're definitely at least in the top three in this conversation. Where do they fall for you?
Yeah, I probably would have them above Spain in terms of the betting odds. I just feel that this France, in Tali's point, with all the players that can come in and make this team better, with Kylian Mbappe being the focus of the years, and certainly mentioned the 2022 World Cup, how he's grown, how he's matured, how he's now settled into that Real Madrid shirt. I think he's a better player than we saw 4 years ago. This is a France team that certainly can be reckoned with. If you get the best out of them, which is always the question with France, you get the best out of them, there are very few teams that can match them. For me, probably certainly of the European teams, favourite.
Here is how that interesting group is looking. Benin top there with 70 points. South Africa second, just 2 points behind them. Nigeria in third, which won't be good enough for the playoffs as it stands. So it's all to play for next Tuesday when they face the current group leaders, Benin, at home in Nigeria. Ooh, all right.
Oh, there he is.
Hey!
There he is.
You can breathe out now, Colin.
Colin Udo joins us to
boy.
try and make sense of all of these permutations that could happen. But Colin, we just saw that what could have been a massive moment for Lesotho in that game against Nigeria. Were you even able to breathe as we watched that ball almost trickle in goal?
So, my heart was pounding throughout that. I don't know what Stanley Nwabali was thinking. He is our best goalkeeper. And, that was just, all I can say is 2 brain farts in one game, in a crucial game that almost cost Nigeria. We had the door open just slightly, and any of those goals could have slammed the door shut, especially that last one. So, in the end, it was nervy, it was tense, but we only just made it out. So hopefully things improve from there.
Well, Colin, we all sit here at this table as someone from Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Venezuela, and we talk about how our teams give us stress in terms of World Cup qualifying. But what's going on with Nigeria now? We have to have Nigeria at a World Cup. They always have the best kit. So what are you expecting now from their next game, next Tuesday in Nigeria against Benin?
You do not know stress until you support the Super Eagles. Trust me.
Oh, we know stress.
They put us through the ringer every single time. And this particular iteration of Super Eagles have made it even worse. Just look at that lineup. Lookman, African Footballer of the Year, reigning one. Victor Osimhen, the previous African Footballer of the Year. Tolu Arokodare, who's just gone to England and made a blinding start. Wilfred Ndidi, William Truth Ekong, Calvin Bassey, Stanley, Alex Iwobi. And then look at the bench. Akor Adams, who came on and scored. Over the weekend, he just scored for Sevilla against Barcelona. And then he comes on, makes his debut for Nigeria, and does exactly the same thing. So you've got to look at that team and you think, yes, that's a team that should walk through this qualifying group with Lesotho, with Benin Republic, with Zimbabwe, with Rwanda. But, we draw 3 games at home, go away and lose to Benin, who were not even playing at home. They were playing in Cote d'Ivoire away from home. And then, 2 draws against South Africa. So it's just been disappointing. And part of the problem has been that we've gone through this series with 4 different coaches. Jose Peseiro started it. Austin Eguavon came in and pick up the slack a little bit. George Finidi came in, drew the game against South Africa and then lost, against Zimbabwe, then lost to Benin Republic. And then Eric Sekushel. So it's just been a whole chaotic mess in the Nigeria side. And that's exactly what you get when you do that. In fact, we are the only big team in Africa, well, big team in quote, because this I'm not sure if we can call Nigeria big anymore, who will not crack 20 points in these qualifiers. And guess who else is not going to crack 20 points? The likes of Niger and Namibia, who are currently placed second. So it's just been a massive disappointment all the way around.
Yeah, because we're moving on to Group F. Ivory Coast there at the top of Group F, only just 1 point ahead of Gabon. Ivory Coast were also in action today. They were up against the Seychelles, and if you thought that Senegal got a big win,
I don't think the Seychelles are going to make it. I don't think the Seychelles are going to make it.
No. Look at that goal difference.
I don't think that's going to help either.
Oh, boy.
Look
You
at
never
that
know, miracles
goal
happen.
difference. All right, but Colin, I actually want to talk about another game that we saw a few days ago, which was Cape Verde, who played against Libya, and that was an absolutely thrilling game. They had to come from behind just to draw the game. They could have historically qualified for the World Cup with a win that night, but now it's going to be a big last game for them, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, certainly. They play Eswatini at home in the final game, and I'll tell you what. They are playing an 8,000 capacity stadium, and you can't find a ticket anywhere to buy. Look, it's almost like the whole country wants to get in there and watch that game. And who wouldn't? You know, it's a small country about to make their first World Cup. And like you said, they could have qualified, but for a terrible offside call where they were clearly onside, and replay showed they were onside, but, they got the wrong end of the draw, and unfortunately couldn't get the goal that could have seen them. But I mean, nothing is going to be better than them, qualifying at home for the first time in front of their fans. And I'm not sure even Shaka will be able to get a ticket to watch that.
I'm playing. Oh,
For whom?
I'm just
Not even if you were playing.
For Swatini?
Yeah, they all, yeah.
I feel like Colin has a favorite, and it is Shaka. Shaka gets called out a lot. I can tell.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he picked on it.
Absolutely.
That was when they qualified for that World Cup in 2014. And now, like he said, this is going to be his last World Cup. So I think it's come full cycle, a fitting end to a stellar international career for Riyad Mahrez. But, I mean, look at Egypt. They're also going to the World Cup. Mohamed Salah is going to light up the U.S. like he's done everywhere else. And all 4 teams in Africa that have qualified so far for the World Cup are all North African teams. So the rest of us are going to wait until Tuesday to see whether it's Ghana, Cape Verde, or Cameroon, Senegal, Ivory Coast who join them in that party.
All right, Colin Udo.
And Nigeria.
And Nigeria, Colin. I was wondering, were you not going to even mention?
Well, look, so I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Nigeria are going to qualify.
No.
Look, and I say this with a lot of pain in my heart, because here's the thing. Benin have they've got the in pole position going into this round of qualifiers. Nigeria have to win against Benin and hope that South Africa don't win. But if South Africa win and both Nigeria and Benin tie, then Benin probably goes. But if Nigeria beat Benin, we still have to beat them by at least 2 goals to get through. So it's just so complicated. It's either Benin Republic or South Africa. So if we beat Benin, we have the ticket to South Africa, and if we draw with them, we don't go either. So
I don't think you're going, Colin. It's all right. It's all right. You can come with me and Ali. You can come with me and Ali.
Colin, you know what? I'm going to believe in Niger.
Don't worry.
I'm going to believe in Niger because I want a free kit. Let me tell you.
Oh, good.
Let me
Don't
tell
worry,
you.
I'll get you a kit irrespective.
Tuesday, we're going with the Super Eagles.
Oh, boy.
Colin Udo,
Exactly.
thank you
what?
so much for joining us. It's always an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, and we'll be rooting for the Super Eagles, mainly for your mental health. And here are some more upcoming games in AFCON. Please remember, all of these games are available on ESPN+. As Colin said, there is a lot to play for over the next 3 days. Welcome into Extra Time. Alexis Nunes is still hanging out with, because I'm ready for business now. Ready for business.
Extra time gets the best of you, Alex.
Oh, I love it.
You want to show the world your belt buckle?
Oh, this is my belt buckle. This is my She Means Business belt buckle.
She does mean business.
Guys, last time I had an extra time, it sparked a debate that has been going on this show for the past 3 days. And it doesn't look, I held up 4 when I was saying 3. Love that for me. But, so I'm tempted to see what some of the questions are. Shaka. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day. Right, let's get to the questions. Ale, first question for you. What's the best World Cup of this century? And why? I feel like that should be a question for
2006.
Stevie Nicks.
Everybody knows that.
I feel like he's been around for more like a
2006 is the best World Cup of this century.
I'm going to say 98.
That's not this
This
century.
Oh, in this century. Sorry.
Oh, boy.
I forgot. I was just thinking of all time.
Boy.
So Ale, but I told you it's been a long day.
Yeah.
And I've only had one coffee.
Not that long. Not that long.
I had to go to the
Been a long
DMV
century,
this
apparently.
morning. I had to go to the DMV this morning, guys. It's a long day.
How did that go?
Long, let me tell you.
Okay. But successful?
Relatively, I have to go back.
Did you not show me your belt buckle?
No, I wasn't wearing the belt buckle. Maybe I didn't walk in like I meant business.
Oh, man.
So of this century,
Stop
Alex.
blocking the belt buckle. There you go.
There we go.
Ah.
Sheriff Nunes is in town.
Okay.
That's how I should have walked in the DMV. With confidence.
I thought you were going to do the bracelets and be Wonder Woman.
Oh, I love that. Ale, what's the best World Cup?
I don't know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to say the last one is, and I think it's because of what it meant, the coronation of Lionel Messi. And as it was building up, it wasn't that Argentina was carrying Lionel Messi, or it wasn't that Lionel Messi was carrying Argentina, it's that finally in the World Cup stage and international competition at the World Cup stage, both Argentina and Messi were carrying each other, and you were seeing it happen in real time. And I cannot remember a final that was better, more dramatic than what we saw between Argentina and France. And somebody was at that final. Was it you, Shaq? Did you stay awake for the whole final?
That's why it was the best.
Okay, all right.
I was at that final as well, but I was not awarded a ticket nor a media accreditation. Shaka did, though. So I had to report on it from outside. I got to see the fireworks going off, though. That was lovely.
What was going on inside was great.
Don't worry, 2026, that's my year. That's my year. That's my year.
Do you agree, Shaq, with the assessment, or?
No, he said 2000.
Oh, yes. Well, but that's
my favorite.
It seems rather selfish.
Why is it your favorite, Shaka? Shaka, remind the people why it's your favorite.
Because that's Trinidad and Tobago played in 2006.
And
World
who
Cup.
played in that?
And Shaka had a stunning game. An
Did he
aging
ever?
Shaka Hislop, as they framed it.
I gotta make a
Which,
sound like that.
how many stops, Shaka, in that game?
I don't know, Alexis. That's not my job to keep count.
Hold on.
He knows his
Wait
stats.
a minute. Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
This
sure,
is a
Ali.
serious question. If in 2006 you were an aging Shaka Hislop, in 2025, what are you now? Where do we go from here?
Fine wine. Aged.
Age-ish.
I'm capped out.
Yes.
I'm capped out. I've hit my limit and stopped.
Listen, if anybody watches this show for as long as it's been around, you know that one man here barely ages. And it's Shaka Hislop.
What?
Look at him. Look at him.
Things are breaking down.
The knees don't work like they used to, but Shaka still
Oh,
has the same.
these are the least of my worries. Tell you that right now.
The back? The back's gone.
Keep it moving, Alexis. Keep it moving.
The brain? Is that
Keep it moving, Alexis.
Next question now from Ezio. For all, you're 21 years old and you're on a night out. You need one of your panel members to be your wingman. Who is the best wingman and who would be the worst?
Oh boy.
Ooh, this is a good question. I think Craig would be the worst.
I think Dan would be a good wingman. Dan would be a good wingman.
Shaka, I'm going out with you, man.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going out with you, Shaq.
All right.
I tell you that.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
be
Oh,
all right.
plus, we check a lot of boxes, Shaq.
Yeah.
You put us together, we check a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like the little United Nations. over there.
Yeah. Well.
Just saying.
Well.
We can speak different languages.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't just limit ourselves.
No, and why should we?
No. At 21?
At 21. Oh, a 21-year-old Shaka and Ale.
You will do most of the talking, though, Shaq. According to Mario Melchior, I would be on the dance floor. You'll be doing the talking.
Yeah.
Hey, is Mario in this club too? Because if Mario's there,
We in.
vibe.
Oh, baby.
Who do you think will be the worst? That's the other part of the question.
Yeah, Craig.
well, I'm not going anywhere with Craig. So
Yeah, Craig.
That's
Craig's the worst. Craig will be the worst
Absolutely.
man.
yeah.
I mean, no good.
I mean, I don't think we can get anything done, Shaq.
No.
No.
I just go home and at least I got a good night's rest.
No, but at 21, you don't want a good night's rest.
I'm gonna
No,
take
but I'm
this.
saying,
Yeah.
if Craig's my wingman,
Yeah.
might as well get a good night's sleep after this.
That plane is going down.
Like, boy.
All right, next question now. For Ale, do you think Chelsea and Brazil have found their next star player in Estevao?
They have found a really talented player that is just now scratching the surface of what he can become. That is a big leap to then say the next big star for Chelsea, and it's an even bigger leap to say the next big star for Brazil. He's on the right path, and he seems to be in the right place for it. And there's also a need and a want and a desperation for Brazil to find that guy.
Yeah.
Vini hasn't quite become that guy yet at the Brazilian national team level. Neymar, well, we all know, well documented, he left quite a big hole, and somebody needs to take on that responsibility. I'm not quite sure that Estevao is ready for that just yet, but he seems to be in the right path.
Do you know how we always say Shaka brings up the Jamal Musiala voice?
Yes.
What?
You really brought up the Ale Moreno deep voice. I liked it. It was very,
Because you know what happened?
it was filled with
Alexis?
wisdom.
I've matured since I was 21 years old.
You know, but you can still hit the dance floor like you are. I know that firsthand. Just play some Chino y Nacho, and Ale will be out there moving them hips.
Things get loose.
Things get loose. But he only does that overseas in España.
Well, or in a Spanish-speaking
Connecticut
country.
Ale doesn't do it. Barcelona Ale, ooh, there's no stopping this man, let me tell you. Next question.
But
Thomas,
mature. I have matured.
but he-
That's it. You keep trying to convince us.
Thomas Tuchel said England will arrive as underdogs at the World Cup because we haven't won it for decades. With the England squad, is Tuchel right? Just setting the bar low? Who are your favorites?
France and Argentina are my two favorites.
No España?
No,
Where do England fall in that?
lower than Spain.
So we're talking fifth almost.
At least fourth. I don't see England being better than Argentina if they perform at their best. France or Spain. So I don't know. So they're not not favorites unless we count them fourth favorite.
That's fair. Ale, what about you?
I think they got a shot. But
What do you make of Tuchel's comments? Do you think he is just kind of managing expectations?
He has to say that.
yeah, well, yes, but you don't want him to come out and say we're gonna go and win it,
Ooh, that will not end well.
because now you're setting yourself up for failure. But I would like a manager every once in a while to say, hey, our expectation is to give ourselves the best chance to win this thing. That's what we're going. That is it. And instead of saying, well, we're underdogs because we haven't won it for decades, say, well, it's about that time
Yeah.
for us to take a step forward. Now, I don't think that England is the right country to actually come out and say those things, because without saying those things, they get ahead of themselves and they start expecting big things from a team that hasn't won it in decades. So it's coming home maybe. Hold on. Are you watching the game?
Yeah.
What
are you? What?
Shaka's on his phone.
I'm over here breaking it down.
Trinidad?
What?
We just scored against Bermuda.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry, buddy.
All right.
Trying to make a play in a crucial World Cup qualifier.
It is very
Went to
crucial.
Bermuda.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just survived the scare and then go up the other end and score 1-0.
Yep. Oh, that's
And
true.
where's this game being played?
In Bermuda.
Oh, so you're getting a result away from home.
Yeah, we have 2 away games this October.
Uh-huh.
We have to win both.
Okay.
So good start.
And what does that get us if we win both?
It gets us
With another foot in the final
with a
round of
chance.
qualifying.
if we don't win, well.
We're hoping for a World Cup with both Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago in
Yeah.
there. Little Caribbean love, man. We're the only two
That's
countries from the
absolutely right.
Caribbean to make it to a World Cup. 2 smallest nations before Iceland took our thunder. But maybe literally.
I was thinking, what's the population of Cape Verde?
That's a good question. I could
Call
whip
your-
it back
call
up
your
and block
laptop.
my belt.
I'll keep an eye on the
But
game.
how about we go? I'll Google that in the meantime. But let's go to the next question quickly. Did you ever change your mind about a decision you made after a few days or months of pondering. This is going to an interesting area.
It's coming in today. Count.
So apparently it's 500,000 for the population of Cape Verde.
Okay.
Okay, so did you ever change your mind about the decision you made after a few days or months of pondering, like signing a contract, wanting a few days or months of pondering, like signing a contract?
We're talking football. We're talking football here, right? Just make sure.
No, I'm just making sure. I was like,
We're talking football here?
I think we're talking.
Yeah.
And life decisions, if you want to throw it out there, Shaka.
No. Let's
If you want to throw it out there,
let's keep it football. Let's just think it's best for us all.
life decisions.
No, I haven't. You make a decision and you go with it. In football.
Okay, that
No.
didn't convince me much.
I haven't reconsidered or pondered or whatever.
But I mean, we don't reconsider a ponder. Maybe this qualifies as pondering what might have been, what could have been. And
Talking football.
just
as a reminder.
Sorry, then.
I saw you kind of looking off.
Yeah, because I was pondering.
Oh boy, where's Ali here?
Well, I was.
Where's Ali going with this?
I was 21 again.
Ah, boy.
All right, next question.
Yeah, move on.
I just realized
Move
that
on.
it's not written well on my paper, just saying, it just kind of keeps repeating itself, so I'm not losing it entirely.
Nobody was questioning you, Alexis. Nobody, all right. Nobody was questioning
I was
you.
questioning myself.
You're gonna blame this on the DMV as well?
I'm blaming everything on the DMV. Jeez. It's not for the faint of heart, let me tell you.
That's Shaka Hissel
Final
credit card debt. That
question.
is one of them.
This is for Shaka. Yesterday, Stevie said that either you or Craig would be the worst singer of their national anthems. Shaka, are you willing to prove him wrong? Give us a little taste of the Trinidad and Tobago national anthem.
While you're watching Trinidad and Tobago play.
Yeah.
You want me to hold it up so that you feel the motivation?
No.
Do you want me to pull up the music?
What note do you want it in?
We want it in Shaka
Oh, it's
Hissler.
from the love of liberty. Hey, that's I got the first line.
us a bit more.
No more.
No, wait.
No more.
No, what do you
Oh,
mean?
no.
Copyright and all that.
What?
I am a renowned artist.
All right, so can I just say that our producer Louise heard that first line and said, no, that's enough. She said that we can end extra time now.
I mean,
Oh,
I almost got emotional there, Shaq. I felt.
absolutely. That's why I stopped, Ali, because you're not the prestigious of criers.
I felt it.
Shaka, are you back on the show tomorrow?
I am.
All right, so maybe Shaka can give us the second line of his national anthem
Wow.
on ESPN FC tomorrow. They will be back.
You were building up, and
I will
then
be off on Football America.
Snatched it away, Ali.
I know, you-
I snatched it away.
Make sure to tune in.